Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and are keeping safe. I'm just going to wait for another 30 seconds or a minute for people to join into this very, very special live session that we have planned today. So while we're waiting, let's address a fun fact that was stated by one of our audiences. Did you know that it was a woman who wrote the software for the first mission to moon? Well, it's clear now that irrespective of the representation of women in tech, the contribution has been massive from day one. Heartiest welcome to all on the episode 3 of Women in Tech, an initiative by Unacademy, which aims to recognize and celebrate women in this challenging and ever-evolving field of technology. I am your host, Kritika Goyal, and I'm very, very excited to now call upon our guest for the evening, Swathi Bavanaka. Swathi built a consumer tech market space, evibe.in, and scaled it to $1 million in revenue. She has been identified as an inspiring women entrepreneur by the government of Telangana as well as Karnataka. She's now building another success in store, which is Doto, a social app for sports fans to connect and compete with each other. Swathi is a woman who stands for courage, determination, as well as innovation, and has a lot to share with us today about her journey. May we please have you on, Swathi?
Thanks for your intro, Kritika. Thanks for this opportunity to be on the show. Excited to share my 2 cents and also probably address the questions here.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
Great. So let's jump right into our session for today. As you know, this series is called Women in Tech. And I want to know from you, what does it feel like to be a woman in tech?
For me, I feel amazing to have had this opportunity to be a part of women in tech community, right? With tech, the possibilities are huge. I mean, you can do literally anything. Sitting in just one corner of the world, and literally you can touch millions of people's life. That is what inspires me, and I love this aspect of being women in tech.
That's so good to hear. But what's sad is that based on what I have read, the total funding in startups led by at least one female founder is 5.7%, and led solely by women is only 1.4%. What do you feel about this skepticism around women entrepreneurs in tech?
I think probably we will have to look at the whole funnel, right? So if you just look at the top of the funnel itself, the number of women who are taking up the startup to leave about starting a startup, take for an instance joining a startup, right? I don't know much people who prefer startups, so I think it is a top of the funnel problem. I really don't think there is a huge bias for women against women when coming to investment. I really think investors are looking at well-rounded teams. So especially they're more keen on having diverse teams right now. It's the reverse. I think it's the top of the funnel problem, which might take another decade probably to reflect in terms of numbers and percentages.
Fingers crossed. I hope that's exactly how things pan out to be. So now talking about you and your background. So I'd love for you to share your experiences as a student, and if you could share a particular incident that inclined you towards the world of tech.
For me, I think primarily when I finished my class 12, I was pretty open to joining any of the engineering branches, right? I only wanted to become an engineer because I loved math back then in school and college. So I was very excited to become an engineer. Tried IIT, I didn't get into IIT anyway, but I think during these holidays, I've been to multiple classes. One of them was computers. It was programming in C language. So the magic that I could see with what you can do with a small program, right, is something that has touched me, and it stayed me. That made me choose computer science, and rest of the things just followed.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how it seems like. And talk like as you've mentioned your journey and how you've developed through as a student, I feel that you've really had a very dynamic and impactful life. So, do you want to share with us what a typical day in your life looks like?
For me, I think last 1 year has been great learnings in terms of setting up new routines. I've had added a lot of routine to my morning routine. So I start with either treadmilling or walking, and then followed by meditations, breathing exercises, and then journaling gratitude and learnings, because there are learnings every single day in this journey. And apart from this, once I jump into the work, probably let's say around 9 a.m. in the morning. So mostly I keep it to high leverage activities, doing high leverage activities, which is either people or writing, reaching out or thinking. So this is one of the frameworks that I use. So first thing in the morning is usually orbit shifting activities, then followed by the P1s, and probably end of the day, any ops work, like, if you're an entrepreneur, you'll have to multitask and take care of a lot of things. So that's how my day goes. Yeah.
I realized one thing here, that almost everybody who's successful leads a very, very disciplined life. And that could actually be the key to success here. So,
Absolutely. There's one book probably I would want to suggest people here. It is called as Tools of Titans. It is basically the habits and routines of world-class performers. So that's one of the best books. It is very huge as Bible, but you can pick any section, navigate. It is around health, wealth, wisdom. So you can navigate to any sections. There are people where you can learn a lot of things there.
that's great. I have definitely noted it down and I am definitely going to go through it. So now that we have been talking about success, so you have completed 10 successful years in this industry. First of all, congratulations on that.
Thank
So,
you.
so may I know, how would you describe your journey so far? And any particular highlight or milestone that you would want to share with our audience?
um Journey, I think 10 years of journey, it was pretty, like, there was no restrictions for me. So that's the thing I loved about when I look back, because I recently finished 10 years. It is not even like 2 days ago. It's on July 4th. That's when I joined my first job in 2011. So US Independence Day, I've come back from US. So that is a highlight part of my journey, because I had an opportunity, and it really didn't excite me in the US. So I thought I'll experiment and I'll take a bet. So I came here, joined a startup called as Nolscape. So it was very exciting. And from there on, I think there was no looking back in terms of no looking back or no regrets. So, and the journey was like, wherever it took me, I was able to take that path. So, thankful to all the support system that I have with respect to family and partner. I think that plays a major role.
That is absolutely correct. I think I'd go with that stance as well.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned that you took up your first job on 4th of July, some 10 years back, and as far as what I know, you kickstarted your journey with a rather offbeat career option. So, would you want to tell our audience about it, like elaborate on it, and also whether this kind of a career choice, what is the scope of such a tech role in India now? Because it's been a while, but how's it progressing? What do you think about it?
I started like it was like, software developer role, and I was developing and designing and doing game simulations for this top 5 business schools. First time into your job, and you're doing such a challenging and exciting project, right? So that was very exciting for me. There was no questions, or mostly all the choices that I've taken is optimized for learning. So wherever there's a high chance of learning, that is the choice I took, that is a bet I took. So that is one of the jobs where, like, I was the first female full-time employee in that startup, because it was just 10 members, and it was me who joined for the first time. And it was really like, it was not intimidating. It was really exciting, because you get all the spotlight, right? For whatever skills you have. So I really enjoy the journey of, it's not like I don't want more women, definitely would love that. But even if, I never felt intimidated being one woman in the room, any point in time in any of the rooms.
Yeah, that is exactly the strength that we're talking about here, and how we're trying to cut through all of that chase. So absolutely. Let's go to the next question, which is, so we all know that technology is actively enabling innovation and customer access. So you have had a very successful startup. How have you utilized the same in your journey as a tech entrepreneur?
So basically, when we built evibe.in, it is something like a platform like Amazon for celebrations. And just imagine building such a platform in India. So all the thousands of parties in a month used to happen through platform, and there is no manual person being sent out from our team. There is a backend app that is manually does the testing, quality testing, and then lots of things that we've innovated in terms of bringing best of the designs to the market and bringing the best of the quality without having any manual interventions. Most of the people can't even imagine a company operating this way, especially in the events industry, right? They would always imagine you to be the event management company where you manage things like that. So we have built a pure tech play marketplace. So that I think was totally possible with respect to the technology. We really have a solid tech team. My partner, co-founder, is from BITS Pilani, and I did my master's in computer science. So that all helps. So ours is like one of the principles that we used to use is like tech first or product first. Think product first.
Right. Oh, wow. So I think this was a great combination, and definitely it stirred up the technical industry. So, what about the impact in the society? Like, how do you think your passion and your contribution in the field of tech has impacted the society?
So far, I would say, I mean, compared to what I intend to do in my lifetime, I think whatever I've achieved so far is probably not even 1% of what I wanted to do. But with Evibe, I think there were like hundreds of service providers who used to earn their livelihood through this platform. So that was something that we were really proud of, and we were looking to scale, but then pandemic hit and the whole business got disrupted. But I think the kind of impact we were able to make with be it from the service provider side or be it from the customer side, I think there were like million memories that got enabled on the platform. So this is the kind of impact we were able to do with the first startup, which is called as Evibe. And with Doto, I think the opportunity is like, if you just take cricket fans in India, it's hundreds of millions of fans in India. So just
Yeah.
imagine the number of sports fans across the globe. So there are billions of them. So very excited about building a platform, social platform for them. So if we are able to do anything with it, it can be as huge as Instagram or Facebook. It can be something beyond also. So
Oh my God, that definitely does sound very interesting, and I can't wait to be on that app. But
are you a sports fan?
yeah, I think I will. So
Okay.
you just mentioned COVID-19. So how has it exactly impacted your entrepreneurship venture? Because it has to a lot of companies.
Yeah, I mean, first startup, I think it straight went to zero with the pandemic, and then we did try a lot of pivots in the same model itself in the virtual. Tried building virtual platform. We tried all the things that were possible last year, and we were not, getting the signals back on the exponential growth. We had to again wait another 2 to 3 years time for this similar market size to come back. So we didn't really think that it's worth the time where you can't really learn much. So that is when I think incidentally, I think around August 15th time last year, Dhoni has retired, and from there we are super fans of MS Dhoni. That's how we got into the journey of Doto. We didn't really plan to build another startup right away, but it just automatically happened. We did a lot of experimentation, looked at the numbers. Numbers were very exciting. That is when this year we decided to build Doto.
Super. I think the point to remember here is to constantly move forward and not look back or just stop because of one one hiccup that
Absolutely right. So if one of the industries is hit, there are other industries which has got lots of tailwinds. You look at the number of unicorns this year. So it is all because of the pandemic. So you just have to be smart enough to tap into the opportunities.
Yeah, that is there. So just like you faced this challenge and you came out of it, is there any other particular challenge that you've gone through in the past 10 years and are really proud to share about it? Like, how you came out of it.
I think there have been many roller coaster rides with respect to eVibe also, right? We raised 2 rounds of funding. After first one, there is a dip in the market. It was a tough time again. For the second round, we had to like build the team from scratch because the initial team, we had to let go because the kind of things that were getting built up because they were tough times, right? Only good teams stay with you. So it happened that time. It happened during the pandemic also. Like, whoever are really there sharing your vision, they are the people who will be staying with you, throughout the journey. So there have been many roller coaster rides. I think lots of challenges. Nothing was short, but I love taking on challenges. So I think pretty much day in day out there are like so many things that you need to resolve as a founder, as an entrepreneur. So this is the most exciting part.
I'm sure. So, now that we've spoken everything about the past and the present, what do you think is the future of tech startups? And do you feel that there will be more women representation in the years to come?
Absolutely. I think it is already happening. Like I said, for the numbers to, reflect and match up, probably it might take another decade or so. But I'm really optimistic about the number of women who would come into, because I started EY few years back, like 6 years. I can see the difference in 6 years. What happened to the women representation, right? So I really think that it will go. Maybe it might get exponential also, given the number of people who would love to take on such challenges. Uh,
Absolutely.
Such an offbeat path. Yeah.
That is really insightful. So, we know about the tech industry now. Can we know about your future plans? Like, what do you plan on doing in the next 5 years? Because you clearly mentioned that you have a lot of plans, and this is nothing as compared to what you have planned for yourself. So, a
So,
little insight there.
uh, I mean, my plan is basically for life, not really for 5 years or 10 years. The moment we wanted to get into eVibe, I mean, it's my partner also, right? He's my husband too. So we wanted to become like Bill and Melinda Gates of India. Now they divorced, but but I think whatever impact they have made together, nobody can take away that impact, right? So we wanted to become the Gates, not really in terms of exactly the same way, but the inspiration was like with tech, you can build such a huge startup, and with it, you can make a lot of impact on the society. So, I mean, for life, this is what we have planned for. Hopefully, I mean, it might look crazy, but I think this is what we are chasing.
No, no, absolutely. These are power couple goals. So, more power to you. I really hope all of those things come true.
Like,
Uh, so, we'll now head to the next segment, which is the live question round. And we'll just go through a couple of them. And if you could answer a few. So, the first question that we have here is how did you ideate your first startup? What was the process?
So initially, the way we went about it was we both were working at Nolscape. So it was B2B business. So these are all for classroom settings, right? So MBA grads, there would be not more than 30 to 60 people at a time. So we were always inspired to develop something for consumers. Like, Google used to be our inspiration. So during this phase, we were doing a lot of brainstorming on the side projects, not really like we wanted to start something, go out of this company, nothing. So we were just exploring side project ideas. And during this phase, we realized we decided to get married, and we realized there is no platform like Yelp for weddings in India. That's how we set out to immediately we could connect, right? There are like millions of people, Indians getting married, who are tech savvy, who would need a platform like this. So we felt that is a huge problem to solve, and that is how we just jumped into the entrepreneurship with the Evibe. And that story, I think within 2 months, we realized the decision makers are parents for wedding space. They're not online and they don't trust online platforms. So we found a pre-product market fit with kids parties, which were like crazy in Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai. Uh,
Right.
I mean, that has been the story around the ideation of how we ideated for the first startup.
Oh, that's great. So the next question that we have here is, how did you get the funding for your startup? What was-
So we've raised angel rounds. So it was simple and straightforward. I mean, not really like simple and straightforward, but yeah, we did reach out to hundreds of investors, and then it was all cold reach out, right? We didn't have any networks as such. Yeah, I mean, he's from Bits Pilani, that network is there, but we didn't really found a startup earlier, so it becomes a little tough to actually reach out to people and get feedback and keep on iterating and land in that funding. So both the times, I think first time, I think it was completely cold reach out that we did, and we were glad we were able to find the backers and believers back then. And then again, we had a down in between because the market was not going really well. And then so most of the, I mean, this with Doto as well, I think right now we're raising, so that is within network. I mean, there is no reach out or nothing like that as such at this point in time.
Okay.
So
Wow.
for each round, it happens quite differently. Mostly, it is like, you reach out to all the investors who are excited about your space, just have a general conversation and share what's going on. And usually, you keep in touch for many months. They see you closely how things are going, and when things are picking up, the momentum is getting built. That's when I think things happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question that we have here is, are there any tech tools or softwares that are particularly important for an entrepreneur, for a tech entrepreneur?
Tools, I would say. For your previous question, I just want to add, apart from my experience, right, there are like lots of accelerators, there are like lots of programs right now that is going on. So if you have exciting product, something that people need, and you have customers love, there are like lots of support in the ecosystem that you can do. World has opened a lot, and you can even reach out to global investors too, right? So it has just opened up. So it is no way. How it used to be like probably 6 years back. Things have expedited a lot. You have a great idea, great team, you have great, I mean, set of initial customers. You will have believers and backers there.
Right. I
So
think it's really helpful for all the potential entrepreneurs who just want to understand how things go about and how do you actually get money for your dream project. But I think this was very helpful.
yeah, so they can go out on angel list. There are lists that are already there on Twitter. If somebody needs any help, also would be happy to help them out. They can reach out to. With regards to tools for entrepreneurs, I would say lots of people, mostly we're talking about tech, right? So people spend a lot of time building their systems instead of building their products, instead of finding the market. So you can focus finding on the market. There are lots of no-code tools which you can make use of. You don't need to have your own app to evaluate your idea. So you can try spin off something basic, some basic prototypes with the existing products in the market, make use of it and find the market, find the customers. So for that, there are like, you can just browse and explore no code tools. There are like n number of low code tools there. You don't need to shy away. You can really build, the basic products also look really cool. You can build something like Instagram too with no code tools right now. So it is matured. It is, I mean, all the no-code tools have gone a long way, and I would recommend people to explore this part of. Though even if you are from tech, just make use of this, because your development time will be reduced, and your time on focus on customers and finding the market, that will increase. So that is very important for an entrepreneur.
Right. It's important to at least begin and then everything else will follow. But
Definitely,
we have to begin.
definitely. And the focus is on the market and the customer, not your product and yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next question that we have here is, Are there any traits and characteristics that a particular individual or a potential entrepreneur must have?
Um, I think they just need to be hungry. That's it. I think nothing else is needed.
I think I agree with that too. So we'll now wrap up the live question round. And audiences, I hope your answers are answered, like your questions are answered. So I'll move on to the next, which is the last segment of the day. It is the word or phrase association game. And since we've already established that you have an incredible contribution and representation in this world of technology, I feel that this segment could be about your achievements, and if you could give us a little insight or story behind, how did it pan out? So, what do you think about that?
Sure, I think I'm game.
Okay, great. So, the first one is when you were recognized as an inspiring woman entrepreneur by Karnataka and Telangana government.
For me, I think that came naturally. I was not really surprised at getting recognized. The tough part was building the business, right? So that story, I think it just happened. I mean, it is not like I've strived something extra special to get such awards or recognition. It just happened. I mean, for anyone who is doing great work, it would eventually, awards and all are the byproducts. So
Okay, cool.
I don't even have that second award with me because I've sent somebody else to collect it. I was busy that time. Yeah.
What was it like when you got to know that you have been chosen as the one?
First time, first time when I received which award, I think that Women Tech Makers when I was selected, right? That point in time, that was very exciting for me. From there on, it kind of became. I got used to it. I mean, I'm thankful for all the recognition, but I got used to it. I mean, it is good to take pictures and get likes and comments, but it doesn't really help building your business. So you really have to be focused and move things. So yeah,
That is so motivating because you were actually building it throughout and not focusing on the externals.
yeah,
So, lesson to be learned here. The next one will be featured as the top 10 women tech makers across India by Google.
and this was exciting. This was my first one, so very excited. So that too, like if you top 10 across India, and if Google is identifying you as top 10, then that was like a proud moment for me, and probably more for my parents because they identify Google more than they identify my startup name, right? So that runs in Indians and families. So that I think was very exciting. Was very excited about the opportunity. They were like experts from Silicon Valley coming down and training us on public speaking skills. So I totally loved that program, and I wanted to pay back to that community. Right, that's how I got into leading women tech makers community.
So, my next question was actually the same, leading the women tech makers in Hyderabad. How did that happen?
So that happened. I think this was relatively easy. I was just member of it. I used to just go participate, and the intent was really to make a contribution to this community. Right? I already got a lot of benefits through that community. So I established a great network. I got so many things through that community. So I wanted to just pay back so that there are other women in tech who would come and get get benefited through resources, visibility, and community. So that's something that I've enjoyed doing it. So I was the member. Eventually I was picked as a lead, looking at the kind of contribution I was doing. So I was managing my startup and running these communities hand in hand. Yeah.
Wow. And now the last one, which is she leads tech community on Facebook.
Yeah,
So,
I
how
think this is
do you
the
like?
same. This is the same. This is for women entrepreneurs. That was for women in tech. So the amount of time I was able to spend with Facebook, She Leads Tech was relatively low when compared to Google, because with Google, almost I think it was like 2 to 3 years I've been with that community. With Facebook, I think the ecosystem was still nascent and it was still developing. There are not many people, right? You just have to spread a lot of awareness. There are not many. You just have to reach out to a lot more people, and there are all sorts of businesses. The number of people who really do with technology is very low. So you'll have to bring in. There were like very exciting challenges there also, but I loved doing my bit there as well. Lots of learnings.
That is very motivating. And let me just say that was something. With our diversity series, we aim to bring the most inspirational women in the tech scene to your attention, to the attention of our audience. And I'm confident that Swathi, being an achiever in this industry, would have provided some food for thought and a zeal to fulfill your dreams. One last question, Swathi, before we wrap
Sure,
up.
sure.
Any advice that you'd like to share with a woman who aspires to make a mark in a very niche industry?
Mm, I mean, if it is myself, my younger self, probably 10 years younger self, right? I would say like just continue to dream big and take action. Dreams do come true. So for anyone, I mean, you don't need to think about you have skill or your degrees or network. Probably it might be more tougher, but things would happen. I mean, they do come true. So just dream big and just do it.
Absolutely. Dream big is going to be the motto for the session. Thank you so much, Swati, for being on the third live session of Women in Tech. I'm sure you have inspired many, many women to take the high road with your journey and experiences, of course. It was an absolute delight to have you with us. I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. And I hope you had a good time today.
Same. I had a good time, Kritika. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience and my 2 cents. Would love to do anything that is possible my way to contribute to this community.
That's great. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Swati.
Kritika. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.